going on, everybody? Just wanted to welcome everyone listening to the Coach's Corner. So we have a big fight coming up this Saturday night on PBC pay-per-view. Errol the True Spence Jr. versus Shawn Showtime Porter. What I want to do before the fight is take a look back at each of their most recent performances and analyze where each may have issues or may have some success. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you enjoy the video or this type of content, please like and subscribe to the channel. So let's get started, man. Let's take the first look at Shawn Porter against your Dennis Ugas. So let's take a look at his his most recent fight. So a lot of people thought that fight was close, and we'll see if we could look at a certain parts of that fight and just kind of see where he may have gone wrong or where he did things good, and see if we can translate that into his fight coming up this weekend against Errol Spence. So we know that Porter is no stranger to cuts. So in this clip right here is an example of what Spence should watch out for. What we see is Porter leaping in with the left hand in order to land and close the distance. But there's a real possibility for the heads to come together. I expect to see a lot of this all night from Shawn. And it will kind of be up to Spence to use his range and the jab to keep Porter out. So in this next clip, there's three things to look at. I believe an underrated part of Porter's toolkit is his lateral movement. You see Porter slips the punch and then turns Ugas to position himself out of the corner. But what else we see is Porter getting trapped on the ropes. He cannot allow this to happen with Spence. Spence is a great inside fighter who throws heavy body punches when he has his opponent trapped. Another thing to note, Shawn uses his head movement to avoid a few punches from Ugas, but this is done with the intention of letting Ugas commit. That way he can surprise him with a looping left hook. Spence must be cautious as Shawn looks for those trade situations in order to land his punches a lot more effectively, seeing as how he is the shorter and has less reach than Errol Spence. He's going to look to get in close and have that dogfight in close. So as we're moving on, look at this next clip. What we see from Shawn is what we are used to seeing from Shawn Porter. Tons of energy and aggression. The problem I see is that this is not effective aggression. Lots of looping shots and wasted energy. Shawn will look to apply pressure to the bigger Spence Jr., but he has to make Spence pay for allowing him inside. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Spence Jr. and his fight against Mikey Garcia. So what we see from Spence is actually what I expect to see from him at the start of the fight this Saturday night. He's constantly pumping that right jab, getting his range, keeping Mikey busy, but also conditioning him early to see the right hand. Right when he thinks he has him conditioned enough, Spence throws a left to the body. Spence is showing early ring IQ and doing this to study his opponent. I expect to see this happen for maybe 1, 2, possibly 3 rounds. Spence is going to be looking to land that left hand, which I believe he inevitably will land that left hand. This is a technique that we see from, a lot of top guys, the Floyd Mayweathers, also fighters like Naoya Inoue. I've seen him do this as well. He'll get that right hand out there, and then boom, all of a sudden he'll catch you with a left. So we'll move on. Next, what we see in this next clip is Spence pawing the jab and tapping the glove of Mikey's lead hand. So they are, in a sense, jockeying for lead hand dominance. And just as he sees Mikey as comfortable, he gives him a different look, and it's yet another punch to the body with the left hand. So Spence is doing a good job at keeping Mikey at the end of his punches and controlling that distance and that space. So this will be paramount, I think, against his fight with Porter. Another thing to note, just as Mikey goes on the offensive, look at how Spence controls the head of Mikey Garcia and creates distance in order to take away any additional options for Mikey and resetting the situation back to neutral where Spence has an advantage due to his height and his reach. So we'll continue on, and as we continue our analysis of Errol Spence Jr., what we see is something Showtime Shawn Porter should look to exploit. Mikey is applying really good aggression and keeping Errol Spence on his back foot. All of his weight is shifted to his back leg. Doing this decreases his mobility and his ability to step away from the incoming attacks. Errol has put the earmuffs on and is now moving straight backwards instead of spinning Mikey or applying any type of lateral movement. I think this will be one of the biggest issues for Spence, as it will force him into either fighting hard on the inside with Porter or giving Porter opportunities to score and potentially win rounds with a high work rate and just good work. But it has to be effective aggression, as we stated before. So what we see here in round 9, and this is a round where I thought Mikey's brother was going to throw in the towel because Mikey was taking a lot of heavy shots from Errol Spence. This round is where we see Spence really turn it on. This tells us that not only does Spence have a great motor, but he can maintain composure in the late rounds. I think this is where the fight may be decided if there is a knockout win between Shawn Porter and Errol Spence. So all in all, I think this is really going to be a great fight. I think it will be a thinking game early, and Spence will be forced to make early adjustments due to Porter's aggression. I think this fight will eventually turn into an all-out dog fight, a full-on action. And if there is a stoppage, I think it will come somewhere in rounds 9 through 12. If no one goes down, then I think Spence wins by points, and I think his IQ and size will kind of coast him to a win. So everybody, that's my breakdown and my prediction. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. Can Porter win this fight? And if so, what does he have to do in order to win? Can Spence get the knockout that he's been predicting all this time? And if so, what round does it come in? So again, I would like to say thanks to all you guys for visiting the Coach's Corner, and I'll see you all after the fight.